in 60 seconds. This is the volume. Snapchat 210K snaps, Netflix 87K hours of video watched during 60 seconds only. 149.5 K million emails, and including million of spams that we will share. How many number of million of spams are there in emails per second? So 1.4K WordPress post, 3.8 million Google searches per second in WhatsApp. Last but not the least, 29 million messages sent per 60 seconds. So this is what we are using the internet for. This much is our activities are on internet, and this is the data of 2019, not 2020. So when we are dealing with so much activities on the internet, again, when something becomes so much important and so much focused, again, it attracts the criminals, just like your assets in real life. Every criminal wants to steal gold. So this is the gold. The data is the gold. So taking a summary snapshot, every day 600,000 accounts of Facebook got hacked. Every day 82,000 mobile devices infected with the mobile malwares. More than 30,000 websites per day hacked around the globe, and more than 100,000 to 500,000 IDs are hacked per day. And talking about the passwords, 3 billion passwords are hacked per second all around the globe. 3 billion passwords. So talking into this scenario, all government of like countries of all government are spending money on hacking, and ethical hackers, they are preparing teams. They are forced to do so, because if they do not prepare their teams, they do not defend their networks, they do not defend their assets, they would be in no shape to defend themselves to the different threats. Even I would share an example. A few of you might be heard about Stuxnet attack that was delivered by Israel on Iraq with the support from USA. This Stuxnet was delivered in 2016, and this Stuxnet attack with the help of infecting the PLC systems there to controlling the nuclear facility of the Iran had diffused 257 nuclear centrifuge within 7 minutes. So all must be thinking that the nuclear attacks are very lethal, but if you do not have any weapon to attack or defend, how did you defend yourself? So this is all just a summary, and this is all happening with this internet penetration around the globe. Taking the case of Southeast Asia, Southern Asia, only 48% of people has access to the internet, and this much is the security gap. So what would happen if all of the mankind come onto the internet? Because you must be knowing that in 2016 itself, UN has recommended the right to access internet to be declared as a fundamental right. So if that is being implemented by the countries around the globe, what would be the scenario? So around all in this, what is the pure gold? That is data. As being recently defined by our Honorable Prime Minister Modi, data is the new oil. Yes, it is the new oil. It is the pure gold. Everyone is looking for data. Everyone is looking after data. Everyone is anxious to fetch the data and manipulate the data. Everything is moving around data. And what if you do not, or if you're not able to protect your data, you are losing your assets. How we are losing those assets, we'll see later down into the presentation. So first understand what are the different kind of data which are very vulnerable or which are very much under attack surface, where these attackers and the attack force are very much interested to penetrate you, to compromise you. Starting from the digital workforce, the very starting thing, all the companies are facing the digital disruption. Everybody is transforming their workplace or workforces onto the digital workforce. And even COVID has forced the entire world to go digital. Almost all the services are forced to run on digital world. So workflows are moving digital again, in enhancing the attack vector onto them. Electronic supply chains, you all are using Amazon, Flipkart and all. Then we have mobile workforce. We have now offices support. All offices, almost all offices support BYOD, bring your own device, and we need to work on while moving. Sir, please mute your mic. So we are expected to work while we are moving, and mostly people who are working with the sales and all, they are not supposed to sit idle. They are all time working with either with their mobile, either with their pads or laptops. So highly mobile workforce, again increasing the threat perception. Customer services, personally identifiable data is a real thing that attacker is very much interested to penetrate. Till last year, now you must be amazed to know that the personal health information, PHI, is gaining more traction because this is the data which, as a people, we do not care. Like if I ask you people, how many of you kept your medical records very safely so that no unauthorized access would be permitted to it? 98% people say, who will take care of this medical record and who is going to harm us? Yes, this medical record is going to harm us because this, equipped with the data analytics and machine learning, can provide the overall medical strength, workforce strength of any country. And for an enemy nation, that it would be quite easy to penetrate. Taking again the scenario of COVID, if somebody has done the analysis onto the health records of any country, so what are the different viruses or things the people of any country are not able to sustain with. If somebody has done that study and delivered this virus to that particular region, it would become more lethal. The impact of the attack would be more high. So PHI is an important data set. Legal and regulatory affairs, yes, everybody have a criminal mindset when dealing with data. We want to know the policy ahead. They are announced ahead. They are drafted. Business are willing to influence the policy makers, the policy making groups. So, and again, data analytics, as I mentioned with the health record example and the IoT data, not much scientific data is now getting deployed on cloud. So as much as data is becoming available, it should be compliant to the policies and it should be relevant to the organization, and it is also relevant to the attackers as well, because they can manipulate anything out of it. So data is the most critical asset right now. If you and your organization is not serious enough to protect the data breaches of your organization, definitely your overall infrastructure and your business value would be in jeopardy. The latest example I want to share with the learning platform in India, Unacademy. Last week it has been hacked. It's a $390 million company. The revenue which they gained during all these years of putting hard work and sweat in it. But what happened with the attack? All precious data is available on dark web with $20,000 only. Anybody can download an entire data set of an academy with the payment of 20K USD. So this has impacted the business to the core. So why this challenge are becoming more critical to handle by the security people? We need to understand this, because in earlier scenario, what we are supposed to do, that we are supposed to sit into the office and then work on it. That means we are working into the physical boundaries of the office and we are working there. But nowadays, what is happening? We are working with anywhere, anytime, any place. There is no restriction. Boss asks to the employee, just log into the network and do the VPN. Just deliver the task. Everybody loves to work in IT industry. Most of the people love to have work from home. Then instantaneous sharing and collaboration. Nobody is willing to wait for a minute or a second to wait for IT people to connect and then secure the things. They just want to interact instantaneously as soon as they have something in their mind. With the adoption of cloud, the things are becoming more sensitive. And now in the cloud, it's like deploying the data sets of thousands of organizations onto one place or onto one location, so that it's becoming more easy to the attackers. If they coordinate with the teams, they need now they do not need to attack on 100 locations, they need to attack on one location only. If they penetrate a cloud, they'll penetrate thousands of companies directly. So these are the real challenges. So what we are facing, and now what is at stake? Why we should be so much focused and what is affecting us. So you would be amazed to know that 64% of data loss caused by well-meaning insider. That means till now, what our security people are doing, they are securing the networks from the outward access or the incoming connections only. But 64% data breaches are done through the meaningful insiders. Either they intentionally got involved or they unintentionally delivered the attack to the internal network of the companies. Mostly companies would adopt BYOD but do not provide the devices to the employee. 50% of employees leave with data. Who cares to delete the data of the previous information, previous organization? So the data goes on with the employee when it leaves the organization, because organization hesitant to provide their own device and take control, complete control on it. They, in order to reduce the cost, they support employee to use their personal devices when the employees are using their personal devices, and they leave the company. Obviously, they are leaving with the company data, valuable company data. In general, the average cost of data breach is 3.5 million. Isn't it huge enough to put traction towards? Then, not a very small thing to overlook, legal compliance and penalties. If anyone on your network got penetrated and their privacy got affected, the penalties is really, really very high. If your network is not secure, if your application is not secure, you are bound to pay the legal penalties. Though India is really reluctant into it till now, but the countries in Europe and US have made up the strict compliances that if a customer privacy data is being breached from your organization, you are liable to pay and the person can sue you. So again, last but not the least, it's a major thing in the current business, the reputation at risk. So the overall corporate reputation is more than their revenue. Sometimes you heard of that shares of an organization slid just due to attack. The recent being last year on WhatsApp, their services are unavailable for 20 minutes only. It becomes a global news, and the company has lost their reputation into the market. For 20 minutes of absence, 20 minutes of not able to post the post on the WhatsApp. So this is all the scenario why we are becoming so much burdened with why we should focus on it. And now we must understand how is this cybersecurity would be helpful to solve this scenario. So what is the cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is making the digital world a safer place. How? The digital disruption is transforming the way we live, creating an ever-evolving dynamic threat landscape along the way. Then combating cyber threats and maintaining a safe digital world has never become so important and urgent. So this is the preamble why we need to, because we have looked so many data sets, so much information, but this all indicates that we need to be very patient and very focused about the approach to secure our data. Because if we are not doing it right now, we would be putting our profit in line to loss. So this would be more clear with this video what I present to you. This is a video about ransomware, how ransomware attacks are delivered to the network and how they exploit the people. And I'll explain later on what's happened due to this attack. Video is visible to all with sound.
How did you decide to become a hacker?
Sure.
Well, I'm not really sure what it means to become a hacker. That's like some guy in a hoodie who types really fast and stays up all night.
Guys, you can just review this particular video very properly, because it will going to give you a very clear picture about the ransomware.
And see what makes them click. It's not a bad job.
Mark Hanning, CEO of Qualicard, set to report earnings after their blockbuster IPO.
So you consider this a job?
I put a lot of work into this. I'm not lazy. It takes research to figure out the key players, learn all about them, their families, their friends, what they care about. You have to understand the company's organization. I get a lot of my information from the sales department because they're always so quick and eager. They're hungry. People trust too easily. They don't look at the details. I do. Details matter. That's what I'm good at. It has to look completely believable. It has to look familiar. This is where research is important. It's not some generic piece of spam. It's an email from their boss with their company signature. It's written in the voice of the boss. It's what he would say if he were writing this.
What about the malware itself? How does that work?
Somebody else out there already wrote all the code that does the actual attack. I'm just using it in the attachment. My skill is in my ability to get a bunch of people to click on that attachment. I always wonder what it's like when the whole thing unfolds on their end, when the panic sets in.
Please leave your message after the beep.
Hey, this is Rajiv in finance. Call me as soon as you get this. Something's up with my laptop. I can't.
Are you on your way into the office? Something's going on with our file servers.
It's Karen in HR. Our benefits dashboard seems to
Okay, sir, your video is stopped.
Video is playing from my side. Might be a network issue. Just paused it.
Out there already wrote all the code that does the actual attack. I'm just using it in the attachment.
Yes. Okay.
My skill is in my ability to get a bunch of people to click on that attachment. I always wonder what it's like when the whole thing unfolds on their end, when the panic sets in.
Please leave your message after the beep.
Hey, this is Rajiv in finance. Call me as soon as you get this. Something's up with my laptop. I can't.
Are you on your way into the office? Something's going on with our file servers.
It's Karen in HR. Our benefits dashboard seems really slow. We're getting calls from users on it. Can you call when you get this? Joining conference now.
Apparently, there's a malware attack targeting our main...
It's ransomware. They're holding us hostage.
We're locked out of everything. I can't even check my phone. What about the backup?
That will take days.
We need this fixed now. Just pay it. We don't have a choice. We're reporting earnings in 2 hours.
But how do we know that they'll...
Pay it. Put every single person on getting us back up and running. That's the only priority now.
Okay, it's done.
I have the decrypt key. Mark, we have a big problem. The ransomware was just to distract us. They got inside. They got everything. Customer data, financials, everything.
Qualicards is reeling today from the news that hackers have released the personal information of nearly
The
2
Nasdaq
million
closed
customers.
lower today, led by Qualicard, which was down 14% on news that the recent data breach may be far worse than the company
Its
originally
stock fell to a new all-time low on news that CEO Mark Hanning is stepping down after what is turning out to be one of the worst breaches of personal information in recent history.
Do you feel bad about releasing the personal information? All the financials? All the money that was lost?
All I did was get the files. I'm not the one that decided to release them. I'm not the one that shorted the stock. Somebody else had their reasons for that. It's above my pay grade. I was paid to do a job, and I did it well. And that's what's expected of anyone, isn't it? Anyway, markets bounce back.
So this is what that threat perception is, what we have seen into the video. So far, the attacker is not very skilled enough. The girl is not more than a script kiddie. She downloaded the attack and delivered it to the desired attack surface. What she does, she identified who is the CEO of the company, Then she get into connect with the wife of the CEO, not the CEO directly, to get more information, to do the reconnaissance about the target. And then after getting information from the personal network of the wife, she connect with the sales department in order to get the signature from the organization. What she does domain registration with a slightly changed detail that we do not pay attention to, and from that domain copied the signature of the company, replace it with the CEO signature, attach a ransomware with the PDF file and deliver to all the company employees. As soon as they click on the file, this attack is delivered to all company. Initially, the entire network is being encrypted, and they are not able to do anything. They agreed to pay ransomware. They have paid ransomware, but as soon as this ransomware got paid, they are able to access the resources. But the actual person who have designed the attack, they have something else in mind. So they have published this data, what is being stealed during the overall attack, onto the dark web. The entire research of the company, the entire edges or the business value has been lost. They have paid the ransom, still they have lost their business edge due to an attack. So let's take another look on the next attack vector, which is affecting right now, because now everybody is looking to migrate on cloud. So how cloud attack would devastate a company? Let's see with this video.
The race is on to get a fully self-driving car to market.
Autonomous car company Opticon promises a
Cars that drive themselves. Opticon's new cars.
Joining conference now.
Destroyed data and deleted the backups. We can recover most of it, but some of the research may be gone for good. According to the forensics, they may have had access to the blueprints.
The FBI arrested a San Francisco man in connection with last month's Opticon.
Hey Brian, can I get you anything? Coffee or soda or something before we start? So, walk me through it, step by step.
Well, I took over the website to a bowling alley.
Brian, this is not a joke.
Okay, look. They have this research facility down the peninsula, and they're working on optical tracking cameras for driverless cars. So, just searching through social media, I get the names of a whole bunch of engineers who are working there. And as I'm looking them up, I come across this bowling league where a bunch of tech companies play every Wednesday. And this is an old school bowling alley with this really ancient website. And it has all the league info, company names, player names.
Okay, so you hacked into a bowling alley website.
Yeah.
All right, explain how that works.
It's called an iframe injection attack. It's this old exploit that hits anyone that visits the website. So a week later, this guy from Opticon suddenly has my malware on his laptop. I couldn't believe it worked. It was like a joke.
What does that get you?
Well, the next day he goes to work and he opens his laptop and he connects to the network. And that's it. I'm in.
Yeah, but that still doesn't get you inside. I mean, they discovered it. They wiped the laptop, scanned the network.
They didn't scan the whole network. The thermostat's part of the network. It's inside the firewall. It's connected to Opticon's entire network. You can get the whole standard configuration and password online in 30 seconds. I got it off the manufacturer's website. So they scanned most of the network. They didn't scan the thermostat.
Then what?
Then I just went exploring. It was a totally flat network, no subnets or anything. I could see everything, HR files, legal documents, R&D. When I found the blueprints, I realized I could make some money off these files.
What happened after you sent the files?
Oh. Then I burned everything down. I wiped everything I could find, encrypted drives and deleted backups.
Is the network down? I can't get on servers with the database.
Servers look corrupt. We're going to have to do a full restore from the backups.
No, the backups are encrypted.
This is deliberate.
This is a major breach.
Malware.
We gotta call the FBI.
I was just scared. I was trying to cover my tracks.
And somebody paid you how much exactly?
75 bitcoins.
Nice. Not enough to retire on, but still. All right, Brian Page. Are you sure you don't know who paid you?
European automaker Q-Car has beaten Opticon to market with their QX sedan, the world's first self-driving car. Opticon shares tumbled 11% on the news.
So again, in this attack, you must have identified that social engineering plays a major role while delivering the attack. So attacker initially identifies the information, the people who are deployed onto the project or the crucial project. They scanned the entire thing through the social media, then identified a loophole onto the third-party website, Bowling Alley, and delivered the attack onto the website because he knows that all the participants of the core research group are very much fond of playing bowling. So, and this bowling website do not have the adequate security constraints. So all the data is being available there. He delivered the iframe injection attack on the Bowling Alley when the potential user logged into the Bowling Alley site to play the bowling game. It downloaded to the laptop of the employee. When employee get into the organization, the attack got delivered to a remote IoT device, the thermostat, from the laptop, because the company has installed all the required security parameters on the outside periphery. Even they have the robust system. It sounded an alert, and they have scanned the laptop and scanned the whole network, but they do not scan the IoT device, the thermostat, which is being deployed within the network. So attack initially got delivered to the thermostat and then waited for the network activities to get down. And then with the help of CNC, the attacker delivered this attack to the network of the company, encrypted all the things, steal the information because the attack is, because their network is flat. They have not prioritized the network as well. Entire research information, employee information, he gained access to, then sell it to the market competitors with only 75 Bitcoins. And the company who has invested so much so into the launch of the latest self-driving cars, they're not able to launch it. And the competitor launched it prior to them, gained the market edge. So this is basically a big cloud, and I mean, this is the cloud attack video. Just see this, I'll explain this also to you.
It started like any other morning.
Delivered with the help of IoT device.
It's just another day at the office. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
It was a pretty typical job. I bought 10,000 credentials on the dark web. One of them was an executive. Jackpot.
I need access to all my data, whether I'm at the airport or on site with a client. The cloud is how I do my job.
I go where the money is. And these days, that means the cloud.
I know my network and endpoints inside and out, but the cloud is different.
I had no idea.
I had no idea that anything was happening.
First, I grabbed the data. Customer accounts, personnel records, IP. There's always a market for that kind of information. But the cloud was only the first step. From there, I spread to their endpoints, their network. Say hello to your new admin.
He moved on to desktops, our laptops, our servers, even mobile phones. By the time we realized what had happened, it was too late.
Buyers and genetics have been rattled this week. We're talking tons of sensitive accounts have been compromised, causing investor panic. And stock prices continue to fall.
Years of clientless contacts research. Who knows what else they got?
I do this for the money. I'm in and I'm out, and I don't look back.
We're a cloud-first company. Our security needs to go where our users are.
A few organizations get cloud security, but most don't. So for now, my business is good.
So because the organization has adopted cloud, they need a seamless integration of the services. Their executive are supposed to work 24/7 from any place, anywhere. So they are working on it. What attacker does, attackers just simply scans the dark web, because there are stolen credentials which are available on dark web. You just scan the dark web, can get to know that this is the executive which he can target, because the company is a new user of cloud. So he zeroed it on, and with the credentials, the compromised credentials of the employee, access to the cloud, initially delivered the attack to the network administration itself, and then the entire network goes down with, and they are not able to access the cloud. They have secured the network periphery from outside. They have secured the network periphery, and everything inside applications are secured. Everything was secured. But what they have not secured is the cloud, because they might have understood that this is being done by the cloud vendor. So once the attacker choked the access to the cloud, then delivered the attack onto the cloud, stored the credentials of the employees, and all the business critical information, sales information, contact, research, everything stealed, and then sold it to the dark web with a huge amount. So this is the impact factor what these attacks are creating, because as soon as we are adopting new technologies, they are also coming with new vulnerabilities and new policies. What happens is companies do adopt the new technologies, but they are not passionate enough to update the policies. So if you do not update the control and the policies with respect to the adopted technology, you are going to enter into a red zone. So this one more video will give you more understanding about how the cyber attacks are affecting IoT more nowadays. And as we are adopting, government is preaching to go for a smart city and different IoT enabled platforms. Yes, it is good to do the automation, but remember to secure them also. Only building the solution is not the last thing to do. You have to secure them, and secure them enough so that all the users of your applications and platforms, their privacy, their data should not get breached. So why and how? Let's see this with the video, how cyber attack is affecting IoT more, and how we would be.
Any cyber attack, large or small, is born from a weak link in the security chain. And adversaries are committed to finding these weak links to use them to their full advantage. In the rapidly emerging Internet of Things, their work will be made even easier, as anything connected to a network presents an attack surface to exploit, from automobiles to home automation systems. There's no shortage for hackers and cyber criminals to pursue the weak link in security chains, from geopolitical events to targeted industries like pharmaceuticals and aviation, to malvertising and point-of-sale attacks, and even social engineering. Enterprises are increasingly exposed to malicious traffic. This traffic places enterprises at greater risk of encountering malicious activity, like man-in-the-browser attacks, or botnets altering IP addresses to avoid detection, and malicious entities using encryption to cover their tracks when stealing information. There is no shortage of malicious activity or techniques. Sign up to receive the Cisco annual and mid-year security reports to learn about the evolving threats landscape and how operationalizing security can get you ahead of the game.
So this video explains well about the importance of the vulnerabilities which are affecting into the network deep down due to the weakest links. And obviously the IoT devices are the weakest link into the network, provided they have limited capacity to work on, limited processing, limited power, limited processing capacity, and limited bandwidth also. Everything is limited in an IoT platform. So securing this is again comes up with a challenge, and penetrating this is quite easy. So when we are adopting IoT, we should build the platform keeping in mind that security is paramount, because anything which we think of that it is not important is important actually. And that is the thing which you ignore, the attacker will attack on that. So I think these videos have given you ample insight about what the cybersecurity is and how it is being affected to us. So now I have a deeper understanding about what cybersecurity is. So cybersecurity have three major pillars. That is And these are the pillars of any organizations also, that is people, process, and technology. So in order to adopt cybersecurity, you need to work on all these three aspects very well, because if your manpower is trained enough and your policies and processes are not optimized, you will be penalized. Your technology is not updated to the latest one, and you are not using the up to the mark cutting edge technology tools. Might be it is limiting your people and processes both, curtailing the operations. So technology plays an important role. And again, you have technology, you have processes, but if your manpower is not aware, your manpower is not aware of the attack vectors and threats, that is the major thing what we are facing right now as a country. What is affecting more to us, that is people. No awareness about the attack vectors, attack threats, and different attack parameters. We generally ignore the things as a user. Companies build the processes very beautifully, they deploy the technology at place, but the user, as we have seen into the previous two videos also, the ransomware attack is being delivered due to the unawareness of the people. They are not aware about the small change into the domain. Ransomware got delivered. They are not aware about the adoption of IoT and the threat perception with the IoT device. Thermostat was connected to the network, but thermostat was not scanned. That is the biggest mistake. Third company, cloud adoption, done everything, but they have not adopted the cloud security appliance. Compromised from there. So even your tiny mistake can be good enough to provide ample space for an attacker to get hold of your assets and make your company bankrupt. So talking to the basic principles of information security, these are the foundation principles of information security and the guiding light too also. The CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Whatever we do onto the network as a network professional, as a security professional, as an InfoSec professional, or as a data engineer, or as a cloud engineer, covered in this pyramid, CIA. What confidentiality means? Confidentiality means only the authorized user have the right to view the information. No unauthorized user would be able to view the information, and the information do not get disclosed to the unauthorized parties. Integrity. Integrity assures that data cannot be modified in an unauthorized manner. That means data should be preserved for those who have managed it, and only the authorized can change the data. No unauthorized user would be able to change it. And then availability. CI are important, but availability is more important, because if you build a network which takes time to load, nobody is going to work with you. Like if you build a application that takes 10 minutes to load on, and it is very much secure, still people do not love you. They love the application which loads in 2 seconds. So whatever we build, we need to build in mind that it is it should not get affect the availability. That the new trend in the industry is minimum Penta 9 availability or Hexa 9 availability. What Penta 9 or Hexa 9 availability means? Penta 9 typically transforms into 6 to 7 minutes of downtime in a year only. That is permitted for the company. And if you are going for more, like Hexa 9, Penta 9, Hexa 9 or Hepta 9, it transforms into few seconds only. 6 seconds in a year, you can go for a downtime, whatever the reasons are. Because if the service goes unavailable due to any reason, as a service provider, you will be penalized. So availability is paramount. You need to maintain that thing. So working on these basic principles, we evolve with the working principle of security industry. How we do achieve these three triads, CIA. We need to have continuous visibility, continuous risk assessment, and continuous risk mitigation. If we do not done these things, we are subject to the attack. Continuous visibility means what is happening to the network, what is happening onto the applications, what is happening to the data. Everything is visible to the auditors, to the administrator, so that they would be well in time to intervene into that. So all logs, all accesses, all access explanations, controls should be visible. So we should have a continuous visibility in order to monitor what is happening onto the network. Then continuous risk assessment. We need to do the risk assessment continuously without even waiting for a minute. We need to deploy automated appliances. Even the companies are deploying the red teams to do the continuous risk assessment. These people are tasked with to simulate the attacks, to simulate the attack environment, and then test the current security settings and policies, whether they are adequate enough to handle the scenario. Then continuous risk mitigation. In order to that availability do not get affected, we need to have people and processes in place, like they should be capable enough to mitigate. If any risk arises or any incident arises, they should be capable enough to mitigate it in the real time. And if not possible, it should not affect the availability to the network. And still, the people should not get affected anyway. We need to build the processes in a way that it should not affect the availability of the application, of the network, of the services anyway. So continuous risk mitigation. Mitigate the risk as soon as it arrives, deviate it, deflect it, so that it do not get delivered to the assets of the company. It do not have a reach to the assets or targeted assets. So to devise this, we need to come up with a security strategy. So as a security professional, I recommend to use the security framework which is being published by NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology of USA, because they have published the CSF framework. Government of India is working on it, but still they are not able to come up with a final solution. And last week I have a talk with the principal security advisor, Government of India, in a webinar. So he told me that this is not possible right now due to COVID. We are about to launch it into the 2020, but we are still have not completed it yet. So the threat landscape is constantly evolving. Attacks are becoming more advanced, evasive and complex. Hence, traditional security controls are falling to detect advanced threats. So in order to have deeper visibility and better protection against such attacks, organizations should adopt the comprehensive approach as per NIST. What this approach said, this is identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. So identify means identify the attacks, protect means protect the assets, detect means what are the vulnerabilities where it compromised. Then respond to it, that means making your assets safe and deflecting the attacks or mitigating the attacks, and then recover, to recover it from the attack surface to the normal operations, so that your services would not get affected for so long. Like if I take an example of Amazon in a big billion days sale, if the service of Amazon goes down for a minute, it would be $1 billion loss. It would be $1 billion loss within a minute for a company like Amazon if the service goes down for a minute only. So what is the current security posture? So with current security solutions, security postures cover traditional level of malware protection for known threats, while limited or no coverage for advanced stealthy attacks. So what is the current posture? Currently, we have tools in place which helps us in identification, which helps us in protection, and which helps us in detection. So this all identify, protect, and detect is being delivered by the different security controls which are available to us in a limited way. With respect to the current security threat perception, we need to have respond and recover, even with the specification of NIST. But most of the tools lack respond and recover. Still, there is no coverage given with the available tools. So we need to look into that, how we are able to cover this respond and recover. So this is what the next gen security approach requires. So cybersecurity is a never-ending battle, and you again it is again becoming more sophisticated against the more increasingly sophisticated attackers. Your network and information systems are under siege, but how can you determine your preparedness? So you need to assess yourself. What is the level of your vulnerability? You need to identify these things. Otherwise, you would not be able to mitigate the things. So how, as a security people, we can recommend the things. Like before recommending any security solution to anyone, we need to carefully evaluate. Do we have the carefully planned and comprehensive defense strategy? Mostly people do not care about the policy and the strategy, but it is paramount, because all the security controls and devices are to be configured on the basis of your policy. If your organization policy is not well defined enough about the threat perception, the loophole may remain, no matter how extensive and how advanced security controls you have installed on your network. If your policy is not up to the mark, you're not going to completely secure your network. So are our security policies and practices a step ahead of our threats? So the security people need to think of, it's like a game of thief and police. If police is not ahead enough, thief will go and do the theft. This is not the fault of the thief. So have we executed properly from both technological, operational, and personal standpoints? The three pillars. Are they being properly addressed, trained, sanitized, and properly sensitized about the execution? Are we periodically auditing and reviewing our practices and implementation in order to mitigate what is evolving, because it is evolving every day? So whether we are auditing periodically that our security controls and policies are still up to the mark with the latest threat perception, or it requires some changes, or it requires some parameter tuning. So this is a never-ending battle, and this goes on. This goes on like so. In order to do this, along with the answer of the questions I have mentioned, we need to identify the factors, and these factors are the good enough example to configure the policies, to suggest a security solution, and to come up with a comprehensive security approach what industries require. So starting from border security coverage, we need to analyze and detect remediation and prevention of the attacks. Then we need to think about the behavioral analysis, the behavior about how attackers gain access to the network, how they are exploiting the vulnerabilities. Then the near zero false positive approach, that is very much essential, because most of the appliances, if they are not properly configured, they give tons of false positive alerts, and your security team would not be able to deal with them. So tuning of the parameters is very important. Then do we have the advanced investigation and forensic capabilities in the team, so that we would be able to detect the vulnerability, and not only detect, but we will be able to investigate that how this vulnerability is being exploited, so that we would be able to patch it for not getting compromised for the same thing again. Then connect threat intelligence feeds, what we have seen into video as well, because getting update what is happening into the next part of the globe is very important. You can understand this one thing, that Heartbleed is spread to the 72% of the global network in 3 hours only. Within 3 hours, it is spread to, it covered the 72% of the global network, the malware Heartbleed. So then again, before configuring all this, we need to understand the ease of deployment, ease of management, and 24/7 expert security assistance is required during the session, during the entire section. So then, to understand this, the challenge, we must understand the challenges at the different layer, because the challenges are not there at the one level. To understand or have a deeper understanding about this, we need to understand the different layer of network, the different layer of application, and the application control and management as well. We need to understand all the aspects, like network, they have different kind of attacks. Endpoint, they are being compromised with different kind of attacks. Data theft, physical, ongoing, online, there are different type of attacks. Again, web servers and databases have different kind of attacks. ATPs, or advanced threat protection is another kind of attack surface, and risk and compliances from the regulatory requirement. So we need to cover this 360 approach while coming up with the security strategy. So to cover up this security strategy, unfortunately, we do not have a single silver bullet. We cannot cure all the diseases with one medicine. Like the disease are, we have to have the different medicine for different diseases. But unfortunately, for a security people, we need to tune in all the parameters, so that no virus or no infectants could infect our network. So we need to get into the approaches separately for the network security, endpoint security, data security, web servers and data server security, advanced threat protections, and the risk compliance. There are the different tools listed here. You can go into the detail, as I know we are running out of time. My administrators are indicating me that I'm nearing time, and I've given so much time on explanation of the foundations, but still we have lot much to cover. So there are the different overall 360-degree cybersecurity service platform. So this only we can deliver when we integrate SIEM with SOAR, and we need to deploy the tools at the every layer. For perimeter network, we have firewalls, VPN. For internal network, we have gateways, NAC. Servers, we have anti-malware, antivirus, PIM, EDRs, endpoints. Again, the encryption and application whitelisting. For application layer security, WAF, in-memory protection, cloud, CASB, DLP. And for data protections or database protection, we have DAM or data classification firewalls. Then IoT, We have specific inputs for that CyberBit and application whitelisting and in-memory protection. So these all tools, what covers they covers help us in managing the patch management and OS hardening services, cyber security optimization services, breach, attack and simulation services, threat intelligence services, Active Directory compliances, vulnerability assessment, audits and compliances, and risk management. So these all are the services which are being rendered by this so much vast capacity of tools. We need to adopt the tools as per the requirements. I'm not going in detail about it right now. We will have another webinar about this section separately, so that how these tools can be configured. So moving on to the next section, how to prepare the strategy for a company which is good enough to be covered. So we must need to understand, many people are more excited about the hacker part. Everybody wants to become hacker. When you talk to engineering student, they say ethical hacking is a very good thing. I want to become a hacker. But hackers and security analysts are the two sides of the same coin. They are using the same tools. They are using the same technologies. Only the use of the tool and the delivery of the attack method or protection method matters. So it's all about the mentality, how we use the tool. Or we can say the gun is same. When it is in the hands of policeman, it will protect. When it is in the hands of a criminal, it will kill. So it is the intent, whether we are shoot to kill or shoot to protect. That is what the difference between a hacker and a security professional. So they both need to go with the approaches like discovery and reconnaissance. So discovery is with the blue team or the security analyst part. Reconnaissance is done with the red team part. Then penetration is done by the red team. Footholding is done by the security team. Process insertion, persistence, privilege escalations, internal reconnaissance, lateral movement, and actions and objectives. These all are same for both the things. So in order to have a complete approach, we need to build the two teams to have a complete security. That is the red team and the blue team. Red team is of penetration testers and vulnerability managers, and blue team of the security analysts. So why we need to have the red team? Red team to improve the blue team, to create and write management thresholds and matrices. Because one people who is deployed for a security analyst role, they have configured the policies, but who will test that policies are sufficient enough to deal with and to they are capable enough to comprehend the scenario? The red team will do. If you do not have a red team and put all the appliances, what we have discussed in the previous slide, a lot more appliances are there. We have configured everything, but still we are vulnerable because we are not testing it. So to test the security appliance, we need to have the red team in place. Blue team listens to the attacks, analyze and adjust their tactics accordingly. So the continuous monitoring and risk assessment is done by the red team, and mitigation and tune adjustment of parameters is done by the blue team. So it's being a teamwork to create the indicators of compromise or IOC. So we have should have listened to them carefully. If you do not listen to the security people, you are going to lose your edge, and security people will work with respect to the guidelines from IOCs. So keeping close to the ending session, as I have seen many queries and raised hands are there. So I have shortened the presentation. We will cover this blue team and red team approach again into the separate presentation. This will give a more insight about the job market and the different skills required for the professionals to enter into the security domain. So you must be amazed to know by the 2021, the economy of cyber security or the damage done by the cyber security, and to deal with the damage spent on the cyber crime protection will be of 6 trillion. That means the whole economy of our country is 2.8 trillion. And by the 2021, cyber security is going to have an economy of 6 trillion of itself. Alone, Cisco Talos protect 200 billion malicious emails each day. It blocked 200 billion malicious emails each day. This is the spam which is being filtered out from your inboxes. If the appliances are not there, think what would happen to your mailbox. How many emails are going to deliver to it? So as per the 2017 report, hacking is the top type of breach. Among all breaches, it is 59.5%. So we need to give a thought about it, whether we really need it. So thanks for listening, everyone. Now I'm here for the query session. Those you have, you can put in, and I'll answer one by one. And even you can unmute your mic so that I can. So now you can unmute your mic.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good evening. I would like to know what is the difference between penetration testing and vulnerability assessment.
Actually, vulnerability, yes. Please, those who are not talking, please mute your mic. Vulnerability assessment is carried out by two ways. The penetration tester assesses the vulnerabilities from the offensive side, and the security team assesses the vulnerabilities from the inside of the network. So vulnerabilities are there. The same vulnerability can be assessed by a penetration tester or by a security analyst. Security analyst will address the vulnerability in terms of security controls, and the penetration tester will search for any vulnerability which is being still left to be addressed by the security people.
Sir, there is one request.
Yes.
If you ever have a session on Kali Linux, then do inform us. We would like to join that.
And definitely we will have it, but it is a series of webinars. We will do it. And more to you, like we are also holding online training camps with us. Like one training is going on for a security analyst cyber ops domain. Another is planned from 1st of June. Offensive side is going to start by the end of the June. So these are the things. If you want to go into the detail, you can connect to us on our website, on our social media pages, on the YouTube channel. You can connect to us. We will definitely love to connect with you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? You can unmute your
Hello,
mics and raise your hands. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. I'm Dr.
Sir, yes.
Pankaj.
Yes.
Yeah. RD Engineering College. I want to ask a question. Is it any sufficient method that we can identify with you show a videos that it's very good, but particular they specify the market, what is the marketplace of vulnerabilities nowadays? I just want to ask about the marketplace.
Yeah, and there are the sites where the researchers, security researchers publish their white papers. If you're more interested about the offensive side, you can go to the VulnHub. There you also have the different sandboxing approaches, and where to even get to know about more. And yes, these current devices आपकी आ रही हैं market में, they all are capable to fetch the updates from the network. Like companies like Palo Alto and Cisco has configured their devices to fetch the latest updates, and from their dev pages, developer works, you can have more information about this.
Just like the Android capture a lot of within 4 and 5 years too.
So if I tell you about Android, if you're carrying an Android device, it generates 2 GB data per day for a single user. And this 2 GB data is stored onto the cloud. So this is the level of your privacy on edge. 2 GB data per day per user. Android device captures.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
As you told just now, the cloud hacking could be there one part. So we have day-to-day we are using a cloud computing and all this thing. So what could be the exact solution for that one?
You need to install the cloud-specific controls, CAS tools, to deal with the cloud-related things. And again, your red team should be capable enough to penetrate into the cloud and assess the vulnerabilities. And then again, the NIST framework is a good one because it gives the offer of cloud auditors, which people in country like India do not think of. Even government authorities have no clue what is the role of cloud auditor. But NIST, CISF specifically addresses it.
So you mean to say that cloud auditing should be there for your organization?
For any, actually, what NIST has said.
Let me, KB, let me give you one answer of this particular question. Actually, for the cloud security, there is one technology which is running into the market that is called CASB. Okay, and there is a multiple products are also available, and people are doing implementing those all the particular product to secure their data on their cloud. Okay, so there is a technology that is called CASB. If you can just Google it, you will get the complete details about the CASB, and it will going to fulfill all the standard whatever going to be run by each and every country's rules and regulations.
Okay. Yeah. So you mean to say TASB is the best cloud protecting software?
Yeah. If you are talking about there is a different, this time there is a one product that is called the native platform, and apply those all the data from the cloud to the on-premise. There is a different classification tools also available. They like Classify is the one tool which you will going to use for the classification purpose also.
I think Ms. Priyanshi Shukla is willing to say something. Yes, Priyanshi.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. This is Priyanshi Shukla, student of IT second year. Sir, I want to ask, like, do we have the right data governance strategy so that we can minimize this cyber risk?
This is what we are saying into it, that policy, the security. If you do not have the security policy in place, the governance would not be there. And we need to tune in this policy.
In the beginning, you told us about the types or the amount of risk we have in a second or in a minute.
Yes.
You know, even apart from the government also, Tapsi, apart from the government, each and every particular organization have a governance policy, okay, which will going to work according to the government rules and regulations. Okay, like Krishnavir had already put it, like there is a NIST framework, there is a HIPPO framework is there. So you have to do your own policy. Even in the slide also there is a three things which is Krishnavir had already mentioned: people, process, and technology. That process is called like the governance, like the policy, making the policy of those all the things. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Pankaj Nadar is willing to say something. Mr. Pankaj Nadar. So if anyone has any query, can unmute their mic and ask for.
Yes, I have a one query, Mr. Krishnavir, to you.
Okay, Kamlesh. Just tell us.
Yeah, you had I had gone listen your all the things, and I'm saying you it's a very informative presentation and everything what we had discussed, and it's a very good approach to explain each and every vendors. Okay, what it is looking, you had put those all the things in your presentation. Okay, you believe me one thing, guys. I'm saying you, each and every particular government and each and every particular organization is investing huge money for the cyber security, and they are
I think there must be some network glitches in the network. So these are the profile presenters. You can connect to us on LinkedIn.
And this is the right approach your organization to secure.
Kamlesh, there is some technical glitch in the network from your side. The voice is getting delayed.
Voice is getting broken.
It's getting distorted. So for more information, you guys can connect to us on datareds.com and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. We are present over there to answer your queries, and you can join our training sessions which are going on for all of you, like on the online platform. These are certification oriented trainings. Yes, Kamlesh.
Yeah.
So, Kamlesh ji, there is some disturbance from your end.
Hello, sir. Can you send us the link of a training platform so that we can join there?
The training platform is datarids.com. There you get all the information. And from there you have even access to the recorded webinars also. This webinar will also be available there after some time. So do remember to fill in your feedback forms in order to get the certificates. And if any query is like still not answered or some concern you have, you can put in there. We are already running ahead of 15 minutes. We have reached the time. Still, if somebody wishes to ask something, we can answer.
So, thank you, Krishnavir sir and Kamlesh Pathak sir, for this wonderful session. I think all the participants had really enjoyed this session, especially the videos which you have presented in this presentation. Really, it's totally different from other sessions. So, now I'd like to call our director, sir, Dr. Alok Kumar Bharadwaj, sir. Are you there? Dr. A.K. Bharadwaj, sir, are you there?
So I'm stopping this presentation now.
I'm here.
Yeah. So please, you are most welcome, sir. So please unmute your video.
Yes, I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are audible, but your video is off. Please start your video.
Video is not starting. It is off from that side.
Okay, 1 minute, sir. No. Yeah,
it's okay, sir. You can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Video. So we are listening.
Hello.
Yes,
I'm audible.
Yeah, definitely.
Director, RR Group of Institutions, Professor Dr. Alok Kumar Bharadwaj. Pay my sincere thanks to Honorable Sri Anil Agrawal sir, Chairman RRGI, Secretary RRGI, Honorable Sri Chitranshu sir, speakers and participants, organizing committee, especially Mr. Prabhakar sir and his team, Dean sir, Durgesh sir, HOD ITC Rudra Pratap Singh and his faculty members. International webinar on cyber security requirement of next generation IT industry. This is organized by our Department of Computer Science and Engineering, RRGI, in association with Data Rich Technologies. I am thankful to Sri Krishnavir Singh, Lead Technical Architect, Cyber Security, Networking, Cloud Computing, and Mr. Kamlesh Pathak, GM IT Services and Computer Industries, Uganda, for their excellent presentation. I hope such type of webinars will continue in our institute in future also. It was an excellent session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director, sir.
Thank you very much.
Again, thanks. Kamlesh, sir, are you there? So basically,
I'm here, sir. Yeah, we are here.
Yeah, Kamlesh, sir, is in Uganda and he has delivered his lecture also. He is busy in his meetings also, and now, so again, I'm thankful to all the participants. I'm thankful to all the speakers, Data Rich Technologies.
Special thanks to Mr. Krishnavir from my side also. Thank you, Krishnavir. Thank you. At least you have handled all the things.
Just switch on your video. It's like to see you. Yeah, it's been privileged to be here, but I'm very much thankful to Prabhakar ji and the RR Group of Institution, the Director Dr. Alok Bharadwaj ji, and also Mr. Kamlesh Pathak, who had suitably asked me to be part of this team and given me the opportunity to deliver this. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Krishnavir sir. So, I think that this is the
thank you,
session.
Thank you, everyone.
Kamlesh
Yeah,
sir,
and if you have any queries, you all noted down our email ID and just put your queries. We will try to respond you as soon as possible. If you need to directly interact with the industry expert, I will connect you for each and every student to grow their the future, how to grow their future in the cyber security. I will connect them. So no need to worry about the cyber security opportunity. How you, if any student wanted to, how I wanted to start my journey in the cyber security, we both will going to help you. Our email IDs, our like LinkedIn profile is already there in the PPT. You just ping us. We will definitely help you.
thank you, Kamlesh sir. So now I'd like to inform you again. I have already provided the link for the feedback form in the chat box. And I think that all of you must fill that form till now. So please fill that form properly. Write your name with the name of your organization so that it will get printed on your certificate. After submitting your form, you may get your e-certificate at your email. There is some limit on the issuance of the certificate, 100 certificates per day. So if you will not get today, then definitely we'll try again tomorrow. It will be, you will get 100%. So do fast and get your certificate and do confirm.
Can you
Thank
send
you.
us a feedback form by mail?
Thank
Hello?
you again. Thanks to RR Group of Institution Management of our college, Director sir, Dean sir, Data Risk Technologies, Risveer sir, Kamlesh Kumar Pathak sir, Mohan Prasad sir, who has coordinated very well before the organizing this event. So again, thanks to all of you. And I think that question answer session is over now. So I'd like to end this session. If you have any queries, then definitely you must ask your queries on the mail given. So that's all from my side. Thank you. Have you all noted down the feedback form? Have you got the feedback form?
No, sir.
I've already provided it in the chat box, sir. Just please see that. I will provide the feedback form even on your email also.
Okay, sir. Okay, that will do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I will provide you the feedback form on your email also. So all of you must check the feedback form from your email. Fill that form so that you can get your certificate. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And anything else for anyone?
Nothing.
No.
It was really very nice. It was a very nice session.
Very informative.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Now I'm ending this session. Check your mail. When I will end the session, then only I will able to use that feedback form at your mail.
So kindly send the feedback form on the mail ID also because we cannot get it from here.
Thank you.